just putting it out there, you guys are the best, by the way. Your support, it's unmatched. The 2 videos a day at the moment, it's a grind, but we're getting through it as quick as we can, giving you guys all the information, and you can cherry pick which guys you want to hear about. If you want to hear about all of them, and I think it's especially important to get an understanding why we don't pick certain players. Also, with the fact of why we do, we can't just go through all the guys that have interest, because that doesn't build the knowledge base of everyone playing, and we want guys to be interested in this as much as you guys are, if you're more veterans of this game. So welcome to all the newer players, the first and second yearers. Hopefully these videos teach you a lot as to which guys you should pick and why you should even hold off on guys that you think are pretty solid and they should do well, like they're in prime of their career and stuff, but there are players that just aren't suited to NRL fantasy scoring as much. We're here for the centre value in 2025, and I've been helping you guys for 5 years now, and almost up to our 5-year anniversary, I should say, complete full 5 years in May. So I'm super excited for that. But we did speak about Dylan Lucas, Bo Fermor, Burbo, these types of guys in the edge videos there. 2 in the guns and 1 in the cash cows. But Will Penisini is up next at 535k, priced at a 40 average. He did have a 46 average with Moses 2 years in a row, crazily enough, 23 and 24. But it is hard to pick someone who his team playing well, if they play well, he's dependent on that, and also he's Moses dependent. Because last year, he didn't end up with a perfect average of that 40, and we know he has lots of talent, but it does seem to drop off, unfortunately, without Moses. It was pretty gross in both those years without him, with a 37 average and a 27 average if Moses was to go down, and there's obviously a chance he plays Origin and different things like that. I'd be so excited, I think, for Penisini if he had Lomax on his outside, because I think that would mean they go down his edge so often. But at this stage, it's not likely to be that way, with Lomax likely to be the other centre. He definitely has some small upside, but I think the negatives likely outweigh that sort of 6 points of value, or you're hoping that he goes to a 50 average at this point of his career. Tuivasa-Sheck, speaking of different points of their career, Penisini's still in the early phases, and we got to remember that he is still really young, but we haven't seen that chance of him pushing to the next level yet. But Roger at 5'10 with the wing fullback duel. I think with Roger, if he's on the wing, it's likely that he does sit at about a 40 plus average, close to that 40 mark though, and only a little bit of value. He's in the twilight of his career in a team that's only okay. Sorry, Wales fans, but I really hope Metcalf and these guys can do it for you. But then, with Fish coming over, but it remains to be seen. 2023 was awesome. Last year was poor, and hopefully they can improve on that. He had random gains at fullback last year, and he still couldn't get over a 40 average. So that's where I look at him and go, it's probably hard to take you at 5'10". He had 10 tackles per game in centre. So, in that scenario, he's relying on his running. And he had a lack of tries as well. So, again, you can see where some of the positives could be if he gets the run meters up a little bit. If the tries come a little bit more at wing, if that's where he ends up, or at centre, then he could have some value, but it's probably not much. You add an extra try every 3 or 4 games, and you get him into the low 40s, but probably is not enough. Matt Timoko, 5'10 for him. It's just swings and roundabouts for Matty. Last year, he got up to 684k in round 8, so he had a cracking start to the year before dropping all the way to that 393k mark by round 26. And look, I'm going to put a decent chunk of this, now that I'm thinking about it, to Fogarty being out. Fog was great through the start of the season, and then when Fog was out with his bicep tear, Timoko went through the floor. And then, Fog was back for the good part of the last part of the season, and Timoko kept going down. He went all the way down to his low at 393k in round 26. So that's where the big worry is for Timoko. He had no tries since the early rounds, and only had a few anyway in that time. And he had a 44 average in 2023. And if you're looking at that 684, that puts you to being him scoring at that stage close to the 50 average, which is incredible for a guy priced at 38 at 510. So with the Raiders having a really terrific draw to start with no buys until sort of round 14 or 15. He becomes interesting for sure, but I don't know if you can jump on it. The upside is great, but how scary is it to know that you can have a guy that swings 300k in a matter of 18 rounds there? that makes it pretty tough to jump on. And we don't know which Timoko we're going to see. He went absolutely missing in the back half. And it's also to do with how well the Raiders played as well. They were awesome to start the season, and he was a big part of that. And then they, fell off a cliff a little bit with, guys like KO Weeks coming in, a bit more of a run first guy as well. So that's something to note, rather than having Fogg there next to him, which he will to start the season. But personally, I think you're more game than I if you try to bring him in and find out. But I hope that someone does, after watching this video, bring Timoko in and see the benefits that you can have at a close to 10-point value at certain times, 6 points of value on 2023. There's definitely upside there, but how much is the question, and will you get the right Matt Timoko? Paul Alamoti, at 505k for him, it's a 38 average, and his scores are so consistent last year until you see the random 12 and 11, which kind of just pop his average down a little bit under that 40 mark now. But we saw the growth from Alamoti last year compared to what he was like at the Dogs, and you should expect a decent average at the Panthers, given they are a quality outfit. When he was with the Dogs, he was younger, fresher, and in a team that wasn't performing well in 2023. We saw the growth, as I said, and there's no reason he goes under a 40 average, in my opinion. He kicked goals in a few games over Origin, so that shows that he can be a backup type player if Cleary and also Edwards are away, which is ideal as well. It's going to happen over that time. He had some great finals games also. Like, he looked like he really improved. Him and Jack Howarth, it was kind of the coming of age for those two. And we'll speak about Jack a little bit later in this video, which is exciting. I think he's going to go up in average, but the question is by how much? He's probably worth a watch first at that price point, but you can see Isaac Tungo in here, his partner in crime, that got down to a lower price point than what Alamoti is, and you could look at those two and you go, oh, I'd probably prefer Tungo, but I do think Alamoti has just as much or potentially more talent in his bag and some more growth to be had, and Isaac, you probably hit some type of a ceiling for him in like a 2023 for that stretch of games that he did really well, and we'll speak about him in a sec. But Alamoti, worth a watch. Are you going to look at him go around for the first few rounds, or are you going to jump on something like this straight away? He doesn't have Luai. How does that affect him? It was actually, he was better with Luai than Taylor May was, that's for sure. Memories. Guys, if you haven't checked out the podcast yet, please go and do that. It's going out earlier than the videos, so if you're there bored waiting for a video, probably not, given there's two a day. But if you are watching both, please let me know in the comments if you're keen as on both videos each and every day. That would mean the world to me if you are a part of that. Thank you so much. But go check out the podcast. It's coming out 3 to 4 hours earlier than the YouTube channel video, and also subscribe and hit follow, guys. The numbers are improving dramatically, and I really appreciate it. But Braden Burns at 500k last year, 500k after last year with the wing fullback duel. He hit 45.3 was his average in 4 games, but it did include 5 tries. So you're looking at 35.7 is the average the year before, and he's sitting at a 37 price right now. So you'd have to expect lots of tries, and I probably don't in a Cowboys side. Leiataua, 500k for him with the dual wing fullback also. He had a 41 average in his first real season there, which is great news. And with that 41, he's got a 4-point price reduction because he had just the 7 games, which is nice. I think that's really helpful. My first reaction says it'll be tough for Ali to go 45 plus in this Warriors outfit. You kind of need things to go right with the whole team as well, even when you have so much talent yourself, which we know Ali does. The 3 tries in 7 games last year is not crazy by any stretch. It's a little bit high for some centers, but we'll get to Ponga a little bit later, but a 0.2 try scoring rate for Ponga. So it was way better than that. He scores evenly across the board, and he's DPP, so he's dual player position, wing fullback and center, which is great. We haven't seen the ceiling games yet, but I do think once we see that, then Leiataua is a really good guy to talk about for sure. He's a great player, but I'm excited to see him go around. He's going to be a strike weapon for this Warriors side, and they haven't had a Conrad Horrell type in a while, or a Manu Vatuvei. So I think Ali can be that guy for him. And if you do want to start with him, I don't think you'll get destroyed at all in that scenario. Isaac Tungo, here we go. 500k, 37.2 was the average, and the numbers for him with and without Cleary are an absolute mess, to be honest with you there. And guys, if you are interested in getting my center rankings, my strategy around the center position, joining in the private group is going to be the best way to do that. And that's in the description below. All that information, prizes, help from all the legends in the crew. Personally, have been in the top 1,000 the last 2 years, 101st and 750th last year. So I can help you get into that top 1,000 and have a cracking season. So have a look in that description below to check all that out. We'd love to see you in there. His stats, as I said, with and without Cleary, were wild. Way better in 2024. 45 versus the 32. So 45 with, 32 without. And then in 2023, it was actually the opposite. 41 with Cleary and 63 without. He scored a heap of tries in that time and played incredibly well. That's that stretch I was talking about where he didn't need Nathan to score well. So I think that puts last year's numbers as a little bit less reliable than you probably would have hoped. He was just straight up not the same guy last year. He didn't look great apart from the first few games, but we know that was against edge back rowers moving to center 2 games in a row, and he just clearly saw that and absolutely torched them. He was better in the final series for sure. He had lots of good high tackle numbers. He was running the footy well, and is that enough to get him back into our sides? At 500k, you can definitely go elsewhere, but I do think he'll be solid again. Can't play much worse, in my opinion, to last year. His tackle numbers are actually pretty good as well. Actually improved a little bit. It was everything else that just was really poor. Looking back at 2023, he had 49 average. So 12 over this one. He played 14 games and he had 4 doubles in that time. Where he had the 2 doubles last year, 1 early and 1 late. In that stretch, he had 7 games where he scored under 40 and 4 games over 60. So I left 3 games in the middle of 40 and 60, showing that he's fairly volatile. And it's expected from a centre. But as we saw this year, he just had less bigger games than he did the year before, and less tries, obviously, with those 4 doubles there. So I definitely think there's some natural improvement back to 2023. A little for sure, but is it a 40 or 45 improvement? Because if it's 40, it's not worth it. And if it's 45, then it's probably worth it at 8 points of value in a really good team next to Nathan Cleary. So that's that. Hope that helps you guys. Team Mariner, 486k for him with the wing fullback duel. The bloke can score tries. We know that. And the team was pretty poor last year. So if the Broncos do improve, I'm expecting a 40 average from him. And that's probably as much as we can naturally expect from Mariner this year. If the Broncos are great and he takes a step up, then I think he can get up to a 45 plus average. But that at this stage is looking at lots of tries. If he can get his run meters up, then I think he's 45 plus. With the dual position, I think it'll be a fun watch because he's such a jet. He's so fast. But is it going to be sustainable to score that many tries? As I said, he just needs those run meters up. All right. Mr. Adam Doueihi, 469k for him with the half duel. So I didn't speak about him in that section just because he will be playing in the centres. We all get excited about him, right? If you're a newer player, you probably don't know much about Doueihi because he's been injured a lot, but he's an absolute jet at 6 with a 60 average. It's crazy, which is why we get excited when we hear his name, but we have to think of him as a centre in a team that is just okay. When he's 6, you saw with Galvin that you can really just take over and do whatever you like because you need to when you're one of the better players in the team, but he has a 36 average at centre with 1.4 goals per game. So if he gets the goals in general, then we're probably expecting a little bit better than 1.4 per game. And, there's another point, couple of points, 3 points, 4 points, whatever it's going to be max, and can put him to about a 40. He does feel like a guy with all the injuries you can probably only take if he's the goal kicker, because I think he can get closer to the 40 or plus 40 from that. With the team likely to improve, plus he had 1.6 errors a game last year. That can improve as well. If he goal kicks, I think I'm expecting 40 to 43 and 5 to 8 points of value. Is it enough? I'm probably already taking a bunch of Tigers as well, so it's probably not, to be fair. Last 2 guys, Jack Howarth. All right, so he's one of those guys that I just said at the end of last year, it was him and Hosking. I was like, all right, I'm just going to get him in my side. Obviously don't know what the draw is, don't know how things are going to set up. He's a gun. I'm going to get him in. And I hope that a lot of you do that. Right now, I'm not sure if it's the right time more than anything. So He had a 38 average as a starter last year. He has been priced up 2 points though, so we didn't expect that to be coming also. He did keep the edge dual, which is great. But the 38 average as a starter, which would be 4 and a bit points of value compared to the 6 and a bit that it would have been. But he had 3 tries in 10 games, 1 assist. So those numbers aren't crazy at all, especially that assist number. Come on, Xavier Coates on your outside. He's a straight up gun. I told myself, as I said, watching through the finals, I'd start with him in 25. The 2-point price bump is annoying. I do expect him to average 45 this year though, personally, which would be 11 points of value. When does that happen? That's the question. We're looking at his final starts. He's a guy that does plenty of running, 144 meters, 175, 158, and he hit well into the hundreds most of the games that he did play last year. But in the finals, he went 39, 42, and then 24. We had 3 errors against the Panthers, trying things at the end, obviously, when they were trying to get a win. So they're really solid numbers, around that 40 mark with some value on that in finals against good teams. Natural improvement to come because he is a Jet. Before making my team, I haven't completely done it yet. A little quick play after I wrote all this out last night. But my hunch with the setup that we've got for the Storm with the round 2 buy is that round 4, 5, or 6 is going to be the better time to buy Mr. Howarth at probably a 35 or 36 price point. I think he averages close to high 30s, mid to high 30s to start. Yeah, maybe 36 or something like that. I do think he explodes after that and gets closer to a mid 40s to high 40s average for the rest of the time. The start isn't great. It's Para, who are going to be reinvigorated with Moses back and some new players in their side, like Lomax, etc. Then they go into the bye, then they go into Panthers. So we know that Panthers are a really hard one for outside backs, especially. So I don't think it's the right time, but he will be the right play in 2025 as a whole. Super excited about Howarth. Are you going to start with him in round 1, or are you going to try and wait it out? I hope I don't get annoyed seeing him knock out a 63 in round 1, which is every chance, obviously. But I think we have to play the percentages sometimes, and round 2 and round 3, it's not looking nice for him with the buy, obviously. You can't gain cash in that point, and then with Panthers following that. Billy Smith didn't play last year. That's another year gone down, unfortunately, for Billy. But he worked his way up to a 39.5 average in 2023, which was absolutely terrific. The thing is, at 450k, he is priced close to that 34 mark. Yeah, 33.8 basically, or whatever that price point is at 450 exactly. So that would be only 5 and a bit points of value if he got back to where he got to in 2023. But unfortunately, he just misses so much time, and we're unsure if he actually makes a side in round 1 with guys like Toya, guys like Nawanga Waze in contention as well, who we'll speak about very shortly. Being priced up near 34, it's tough for sure, minusing all of the injury risk. Is there any value on that? I don't think so. So it's a pass now, and we hope for Rob Toya to get the opportunity in round 1. And other than that, just enjoy him on the park. Hasn't played a lot of games, so let's hope that he gets out there. As I said, guys, my rankings and strategy, if you want all of that, I'm about to post it all in the private group now that the preseason is heating up. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for listening. You are all absolute legends. And we will catch you in the Cash Cows video for the centers tomorrow.